This is going to be a uncharacteristic video for my channel. Obviously, I'm kind of off my schedule to make a video today. This is partially game development related, partially not. But what inspired the video today is singer in Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, passed away at age 41 from suicide. And that raises a few topics, some of which are vaguely related to game development. If you are ever in a place where you're considering suicide, seek help with it. It's okay to talk to people about it. It's okay to seek a therapist or a parent or a loved one or a close friend. It's okay to talk about these things, to write them out. It's not something I normally talk about, and certainly not in public, but there was a period of years in my life, maybe 5 or 6 years, where it was something that was often on my mind. There are types of pain that we feel, physical or mental, which are signals inside of us. And they're things which have evolved to help us respond appropriately to certain kinds of situations. So if we do something physically and we get hurt, that we can back away from it. So that if we do something and we emotionally wind up upset from it, that we can step away from that. And those signals, even though they service a purpose in many situations, can fall completely out of whack for a million reasons. Chemically, physiologically, it can be a crummy diet, a lack of exercise, it can be a lack of sleep, it can be just the negative culmination of bizarre modern situations that don't have a historical analog for us to, as a culture or creature, have caught up to what it means when certain things happen on Twitter and Reddit and Facebook and whatever. But that one of the things that we have to be able to do, or at least that I found helped me, was to be able to try to think about that signal as separate from the reaction. That if we picture the little classical homunculus, the little person in the brain who sits there with the switches, levers, and displays. You know, if you ever drive a car and there's like an engine light, and the engine light comes on, you always got two thoughts, right? Is there something wrong with my engine? Or is there something wrong with my engine light? And I think we got to learn to ask ourselves that same question sometimes. It's like if you have a wound and you go to the doctor and the doctor's doing something to dress the wound and it hurts, you're getting an engine light. You're getting a little feedback from your body that says, probably should pull away from this. But as long as you know that my engine light is wrong, that it's getting better, or that it's a signal of something which is not actually a problem I should pull away from, then you can maybe tough it out while the doctor pushes the joint back into place or applies the whatever it's taking to sanitize it or whatever's going on, stitching things up, etc. It can be uncomfortable. You know that pulling away is not the right answer. And I think when I was going through that difficult headspace for me, it was realizing that oftentimes the problem was my engine light. I'd be feeling sad, but if I sat down and looked at the present circumstances and present situations and future possibilities and bigger picture of things, feeling like maybe I gotta not give that negative feeling too much authority over me. Maybe I gotta not look at it as things are as bad as I feel. It's still a problem if you're feeling bad and shouldn't. That's still worth addressing, whether it's through a psychiatrist, a therapist, whether it's through whatever it takes. I'm not saying to ignore those signals, but what I am saying is to, again, I mean, how you respond to that check engine light depends on your knowledge of whether or not your engine's all right or not, separate from the warning, if that makes sense. And this is where, particularly the case of Linkin Park, which is such a popular band people to hate on, helped me out in high school, helped me out in my time through college, helped me out in my time navigating my early career. In part because it's music, and music conveys a certain attitude to it. And I know there's plenty of people who don't like it as a band or the music or the character, the personas, whatever. First of all, let's be clear. Linkin Park, like any commercialized product, is a product, right? The people behind it are not necessarily the same as the personas that they're in the business of putting forward. In the same way as there's lots of other musicians who are very successful commercially with a character persona, and that's not the same as the person whose profession is acting in that role. So let's just separate that out. But that part of the product that they're putting forward is a certain attitude, and this is where it maybe comes to intersect game development a little bit in a couple of ways. Just so I feel like it makes sense that this video is on this channel, I guess. There's a lot of situations where you have to stick up for yourself. And that sticking up for yourself, only so much that comes from a rational justification or credential for leverage or know-how for confidence. Some of it comes from pure attitude picked up from the kind of music we listen to. And this is where I think early on in my path in life, there are situations that I might have let myself get pushed over, except because I listened to Linkin Park and some other music like that. As bizarre as it sounds, I think that helped me find a form of independence, a form of sticking up for myself, a form of reacting in a way that I wouldn't let myself be pushed around, just from listening to music. Which is also to remind people that the games that we build, entertainment stuff, isn't just a distraction to amuse people. Sometimes some of the games are, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also that the entertainment stuff we build can genuinely, at the best, positively affect someone's life. And I see this happen all the time in games. As much as we joke about how much games are about wish fulfillment or having special magic powers or whatever, I think for a lot of people, games are a chance to feel like they're good at something. Your game development can matter. That it's not just an idle thing. It's not just I hope I get some people to fiddle with the thumbs or whatever. And it's bizarre because we know this growing up. We know this playing games. We know this with the games that we think fondly of. But it takes a long time to catch up and giving ourselves credit for the stuff that we're building might have that effect. Before exams, I used to listen to Punch-Out music. And like Nintendo Entertainment System, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out music. And it's because growing up, I'd play that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out game, and you'd be this little kid, like 1/4 the size of the giant grown-up. This little 19-year-old kid would be just, after you practiced and put in the time, would be winning these fights against these just gargantuan, intimidating figures. And so that Punch-Out music would help pump me up. Would help put me in a position of some better confidence. In addition to, obviously I also studied, right, for the exam and so on. But it just put me in a better headspace of remembering a time when I succeeded at something. Even if that thing that I succeeded at first was, let's be super clear, artificial. Pure fantasy. I gotta go for a little walk. It's a more serious work thing I'm supposed to be recording this afternoon that I, for obvious reasons, I'm not doing at the moment. But I've also got another thing that just started today, but I'm gonna save talking about that for another day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you feel concerned about yourself or someone close to you in regard to concerns about suicide, please, please, please look up helplines. Look for our resources online. You're not alone in it. It's something that lots of other people go through, have gone through, will go through. Working through it can be ultimately beneficial. Down the road, it might better equip you to help look out for somebody else who's having a struggle of their own. Anyway, that's it for today. Sorry to not be my usual chipper self. Bye for now.